Put a finger down if you accidentally went viral on TikTok because you told the story about how you got pregnant by a 23-year-old at the age of 30 and now you're a single mom and everybody says, shut up, bitch, you deserve to be a single mom. And he don't have to take care of his kid because you a slow, dizzy, dumb, bird brain ass bitch who ignored the signs. Oh, but your baby cute.
So why remind the internet? Right? You tell your story, and I think it was on the list of queue that I think I saved to cover it, but kind of got lost in there and other important things. But that happens. But why remind the world of your poor decision making? At this point, we can't give you any more grace or latitude. You saw the signs, and you said it yourself. You ignored them. You were older than a man. I think she was like 7 years older than him, and you still couldn't reason. You still didn't know. I think she met him at a recording studio, and say less. What are we supposed to do at this point? As adults in the real world, at a certain point, we got to let you go. We got to let you say, like, we cannot coddle you. We cannot watch over you to say, don't do this, do that. We can just say, you've got to live with your decisions. And when you come to the internet and you put yourself out there, and the internet does not give you the sympathy you thought you're looking for, and I know it's rare, but when it happens, we all just look at it and say, thank you for the internet finally telling the truth. Instead of it being the same sort of echo chamber that we usually see, where support is the most important thing. They called you out and said, you had a 7-year advantage over this man, this boy, this young man. What part of this did you get? And I think that's fair. I think that's fair because with age is supposed to come wisdom. That's what the saying is. Not that the internet proves that that typically is the case, but we're supposed to understand that at a certain point in time, you're older, you're wiser, you know how to move, you know what not to do. You don't. You don't. Listen, before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still trying to do 2 a day. Even though I think the algorithm is busted for a little bit, we're just going to continue on and do what we can. Um, yeah, this video, like I said, if you didn't see her original video, it's not necessary. It's just she's telling the story of how she did something stupid. Right? You were 30, you made it to that big age, and you had no children. You navigated, you made the right decision. And I understand it. The biological clock, the maternal instinct. Sometimes it's there. It's powerful. It's potent. But when you have a child with a young man, and I'm going to put emphasis on both those, young and the man part, you paying the price of understanding that he we're not taking him off the hook here, where the internet saying he shouldn't have to take care of his kid. No, he should. It's just you have to reduce your expectation of his capability to do so. He can be there, he can physically be present, and he absolutely should. But in terms of the monetary load sort of falling on him, while he should do what he can, capacity is very limited. And you have to understand it when you're going into this thing and you're looking and saying, okay, I'm going to lay down with him. And then when I'm pregnant, I'm still going to keep this child. I'm still going to keep this baby with this young man. He's not all of a sudden going to grow up and have the ability to take care of you, take care of his kid, overnight. That's not realistic. When we understand the data, when we like data, right? We like numbers, we like math, because it's cold, it's cruel, it doesn't lie to you. You look at the earning potential, young women. I forgot the actual age, but I think up to 25, they out earn men. Right? Men, you need that slow burn. You need that time to get your stuff together, to get everything together. It's you hit your financial stride at in your 40s and your 50s. This is when you're making the most money that you've ever made in your life. But along that way is the build, is the grind. So we're not saying that you should just have a kid with someone in his 40s, but ma'am, you were 30. And again, we don't shame people for what they want to do, who they want to date, at what age, whatever. Do you just go in there with eyes wide open? Just the same when we look at men, we look at older men, right? When we say you're 40, you're dating a 20-year-old, right? I'm not going to knock you and shame you for it, but don't come and say, well, we don't really have intellectual discourse. You didn't date for that. Right? you know that was you. That's going to take something that takes time, that takes experience, especially this day and age where it's very easy to be influenced and told someone telling you how you should feel about something or someone so with time, a lot of these things, people need time to marinate. Let's put it like that. Like a good stew, you need time to marinate. It's going to take you time to get to that place where most people say, well, okay, this could be a very viable relationship. You wanted to have this child with this young man. All right, cool. You should have known you're signing yourself for this. You should have known. There's a lack of maturity that's just prevalent just across the generation. Across the generation. Their timelines of things are different from our timelines of things. The way they perceive urgency is very different from us. You having a kid, especially in the black community, doesn't light a fire under men like it used to because it's not becoming, it is so prevalent. It's so frequent. You having a kid back when I was growing up and you were young, that was like, yo, your whole life has to change immediately, right now, right now. Now it doesn't. Now it's not uncommon. And this is the part where we have to address shame. When we got rid of shame or we reduced the effectiveness of shame in our community, you no longer can shame men or young men or anyone into proper behavior. This is what happens after you continue to call men names, call them sassy, you call them whatever, broke, dusty bums. Eventually, shame loses its sting. Being a pariah in the church and the community eventually loses its sting. It's not effective anymore, especially when most of the culture shifts away from that. So now we have it that people are just like, all right, cool. You got a kid, you got a fine. There's a large enough group for them to, be umbrellaed under. Say, okay, it's fine. This is just what we do. This is what it was normal in the culture. So and we're part of this culture and community. When we look at this and we don't look at you and say, and this is why I'm glad the internet said, girl, you stupid. Girl, you stupid. You had the numeric advantage. You had the advantage in world experience, and you still did this. You still did this. So now when you have to raise that child by yourself, yeah, people are it's very normal to say, yeah, the man should step up and do stuff. But they look at him saying he's a young man, an immature man. How much stepping up can he do in the time frame that you need him to? Especially you met him at the rap studio. You met him at the studio. Where's he? He needs time again to marinate, to grow. You don't have that time. Your child doesn't have that time for him to step up. The next thing you're going to put out there is about how he's a bum, how he's a deadbeat. Well, look at the ingredients you started with, right? Unfortunately, we can't say that cake don't bake. No, it's here. Now you have to deal with the consequences of that. Internet doesn't have any sympathy for you in this one, and I'm happy it doesn't. This is one of those just live with the consequences, and you can even see it in you reminding the internet of this. You got like 30K views on this reminder, so you're reveling in it, you're enjoying it, you enjoying your spot in the sun. So again, no shame to you. No shame is given to you, or no gratitude, or no praise is given to you. You laid in bed with him. Now you've got to make it without him. If you disagree, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those and those videos. And of course, if you listen to sound my voice now, you have not subscribed, I really think you should. I'm trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.